What's an urban orangutan? It's an urban gorilla who's ginger. You know, not an urban gorilla, but an urban gorilla. Well, I think it's funny. Hey folks, if you're watching this and you have a Spotify account, whether as a fan or a performer, I strongly advise you to delete it because they are getting to at least 99% evil by volume, and there are many other ways of listening to your favorite artists for free. And if you even want to be legit, you can open up YouTube, go to the artist's actual music page, listen to the album as a playlist with an ad blocker on if you want to, so that you get the proper album experience, but you will still be helping their numbers. Wow. Insert Kaby Leme's face here. Meanwhile, if you can afford to buy their music, I recommend Bandcamp because of the following information. Bandcamp has been waiving their fee on the first Friday of every month on what's consequently being called a Bandcamp Friday every month since the plague started, and is not stopping anytime soon that I can see. Friendly reminder that the plague isn't over yet in any country, so go get your flu shot every year, your latest plague vaccine every 6 months, mask up, and wash your hands, you nasty. The immunocompromised in particular are not happy being seen as collateral damage. Their website says that on Bandcamp Fridays, the artists receive on average 93% of the purchase money, whereas on any other day they receive on average 82%. I'd be happier if I knew the median percentages instead of the average, but that's just me. Therefore, I'll be linking here on YouTube my Facebook post and Twitter thread of my favorite musicians who have music available on Bandcamp every month on Bandcamp Friday. When in doubt, go to isitbandcampfriday.com to see how close you are to the next one, in case you need that incentive and reminder to set aside those 10, 20, etc. dollars aside so that you don't accidentally spend them beforehand. I speak from experience. Of course, if you have enough money lying around that you can afford to throw in enough extra to make sure that the Bandcamp fees are covered and the full purchase price or more gets to the artist, well, in that case, I encourage you to do so, but while you're here, you might as well drop a little coin into my Ko-fi jar first. Now to business. My friend the Urban Orangutan, hereafter referred to as Orangurband because that's how my brain works, recently celebrated the 5th anniversary of his debut album. To this day, I have this much knowledge of music theory, at least consciously, so this review will be from the point of view of a lyricist and an audience member rather than a composer, even though technically I'm a composer too myself. It will therefore at times be the opposite of Leonard Bernstein teaching you how to dissect Mozart. It'll just be me going, this part good. So if anyone can comment below as to how and why this part good, please do so. I would suggest you pause and listen to the album for free on Bandcamp so that all the musical twists and turns can hit you freshly the way they did me, but if you don't care about spoilers, as it were, proceed. First of all, this album is a wonderful example of that dying breed, the concept album. It really does center around this girl codenamed Blueberry, and the opening track sets up, if not a theme or a leitmotif the way Heart Streamboat Annie does, a tension that runs through the whole album. It's called Ominous Horizons, and they truly do not stop coming, and they don't stop coming, and they don't stop coming, and they don't stop. Second, this album showcases his firm grip on various genres, and what's really cool is that this doesn't make the album into a mixtape. Not that it's a bad thing for an album to be a mixtape. One of my favorite examples is one of my favorite albums, The Ting Tings' Sounds from Nowheresville. The lyrics are all related, but that's not what does it. It's that the genres and the rhythms just fit and make sense together. Again, I'm sure there are music theory reasons why, but I don't know them, so if you do, please chime in. For example, I don't know whether anyone before Muddy Waters invented the riff in Mannish Boy. Younger folks might know the riff from Bad to the Bone, if not from the radio, then from the beginning of Terminator 2, and even that's a dated reference nowadays, and I'm crumbling to dust as we speak! But I recognize that track 3 is an homage and or contribution to that tradition, and the whole genre in general, and I'm grateful that I have that much of an ear. On that note, I can confidently say that the Urban Orangutan is one of those people you have to see in person to get the full effect of. I know that's what everybody says about everybody, but some artists really are able to put their whole selves, their ussi, if you will, into their recordings. Frank Sinatra is held by many to be the epitome of this, and the Orangurband is not one of those people. You really do have to experience him in person. The best way I can describe, if not explain it, is that he's created the pocket or the groove or whatever it's called. As in, there's more to a genre than its most common keys and chords and time signatures. There's an inherent je ne sais quoi that has to be learned through experience. My favorite example of this is jazz, not least because in my experience, it's one of those genres you can't fake. You have to actually have a feel for it, either by natural affinity or by putting in enough time and energy that you get the hang of it. My partner is an example of the latter. he isn't Irish, and he wasn't raised with a whole lot of Irish music, but he got into the Irish music scene as a performer several years ago, and through listening to recordings of the OGs and some of the more modern fusions with other genres, and playing with the great and the good who are alive today, he has built up such a repertoire through so much experience that you can throw any Irish tune at him, and he can follow you and roll with you in real time if he doesn't know the tune already. My favorite is when Irish people from Ireland listen to him play and sing and ask him afterward where in Ireland he's from. That's a fecking compliment right there. It's never been his goal to fool anyone, but it's an occasional byproduct. So yeah, I've never asked the Oranger Band when he does songs from the Great American Songbook why he does so, but I have a feeling it's because A, he has a natural affinity for the songs themselves, and B, they help train his ear, sense of timing, help him practice his jazz chords, etc. You know? So that by now, it's a positive feedback loop, also known as the nature-nurture argument. I only make this point because non-creatives have the horrible habit of going up to creatives and being like, oh my god, you're so talented! And the creatives just say, over and over again, that it's practice, and like, nobody listens to them. Is she born with it? No, it's Maybelline. She's telling you it's Maybelline. Believe her. #believe women. Separately from the aforementioned ominous horizons, usually alongside them, most of the tracks each have their light and dark side that go beyond tonic and dominant. My favorite, and probably the most extreme example, comes in track 7, Replay. Some great hacking lines. We couldn't say we really gave our love a chance. More like an interview. I'm miles and miles away from the person that I wanna be. The latter is called Mantra for a reason. Sometimes I just need to put it on repeat and marinate in it. But my absolute favorite track, the one I would have publicized as a single, Bossa Nova Heartbreak. Funny story. My partner, who's a gigging musician and sound technician of long standing, always lends a guitar of his to the open mic he runs, and he has a joking rule of, you can't make it sound better than he does. One time our man, Oranger Band, broke this rule, and in lieu of raucous applause, my partner told him, if I were wearing panties, I'd throw them at you. And Oranger Band was like, I don't know what to do with that information. Moral of the story is, if you're not showing your friends affection by hating on them, what are you even doing with your life?